Eli Hinton back to the bottom, 6 to go.
Makes a mistake again. He missed the shift. He's going to spin to the inside turn. He's going to take the lead.
Eli Hinton just got used up there in the hairpin. He's going to pick up a win after a long winless streak and visit victory lane. And the whole field just needs to get himself slowed down, hop these curves, up and over. There's that cannon running attack. Great restart here for the 2 car, but also for the 48. He crosses him over, down into turn 1, there goes the tail. Here comes the 20 alongside. The 13 car gets turned. He's going to spin in turn 2.
Round 2 of the 2019 Outsider Racing League Chase brings us to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good in Las Vegas. While it's Sin City, it's also the city of luck. Welcome to the second race of the chase. At this 1.5 mile speedway, I'm joined now by Finian DeCuna from SimTV. My name is Kyle Heyer, and my voice is a little off this week because I just got back from Watkins Glen International for the 2019 Salem 6 Hours of the Glen. So my voice is pretty roasted, so hopefully Finian can pull up the slack here a little bit tonight as we get into the second race. And Finian, the last time we were at a racetrack like this, it was at Kansas Speedway, and we saw a really interesting race there. What are you expecting out of tonight?
I don't know. I think we might see something pretty similar, especially considering if you want to pull it up there for the ladies and gentlemen at home. The track conditions, it is swelteringly hot on the track, 133 degrees. And when was it? What race was that that we just did that was even hotter than that? Was it the Roval?
I think it was the... I actually don't remember what race that was, but we had 140 at one point.
Yeah.
But it just climbed to 134.
Oh, so, yep, there you go. Yeah.
These are some of the hottest temperatures that we've ever seen on SimTV, and especially the hottest I think we've ever seen in an oval, maybe other than Indianapolis. So very, very hot temperatures. The intensity is high for the chase. We also should mention that I believe it's Stravato. Let me just double check this.
Stravato.
AJ Stravato's grandfather had a heart attack, and so we're going to, of course, bring our thoughts and prayers over to his family tonight. Of course, it's a terrible situation, so AJ will not be racing this evening. Of course, real life always comes first, especially in a situation like that, so we wish them the best. But for now, we're going to focus on the race, and Mark Emerson sits on pole at the moment, Finian, and I guess no surprise, as he's had a pretty good season.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of needs that going into the rest of it. Didn't really have a good race last week at Bristol. Was kind of slacking in summer. He's kind of slacking throughout the night. Really didn't step up to the plate. But here he is on pole. So he really needs a good race as he's all the way back in what I believe is he's all the way back in 7th place in the chase standing. So again, needs to step up his game tonight and definitely doing so. How about Jeremy Miller in the 30? He's going to be starting on 2nd as it seems for now.
Remember, Alec Martinez won at Kansas in pretty similar situations at a very similar racetrack, so we'll see if that hangs true. Another thing I should mention before we go live, tonight was supposed to be the debut of the new graphics package. What you really should look for is on Tuesday night's Grid Life series with the trucks at the road courses. That is the theme that I'm actively working on to get updated, and all the other ones will get updated after that. So Tuesday, you can see previews of what it will look like from last Tuesday, but this Tuesday it'll have a couple more things added as we conclude qualifying. Mark Emerson on pole. A lot of the field didn't qualify, though. That's an interesting move. Maybe they're just waiting to see how the conditions are going to transfer into the race.
Yeah, and also speaking of the race, I think we're going to see something very similar to Kansas. Kansas was also pretty hot. We saw a reduction of that sort of pack racing that we've been accustomed to with the new NASCAR Cup package. So I think guys are going to get a lot more spread out, a lot more single file. It's going to mean that passing, I think, is going to come at a premium tonight, especially later in the run. So if you're going to get your passing, you're going to want to get it done early. Otherwise, you're pretty much not going to be able to at all.
Absolutely. So take a look at our configuration. It's a 1.5 mile racetrack. This is not much to say here. It's relatively simple. But the challenge is the heat. And again, of course, Las Vegas is a very, very hot area. It's the Nevada desert. It's going to get hot. It's going to get sticky. But I'm just concerned about the starts and restarts, because we're going to have everyone bunched up. Everyone's going to be using that downforce. And when you get to the corner, it's going to be hot and slick, and it's only going to get worse. I think 134 is where it is at right now, but the air temp is 91. I do expect this to climb. And also, if you take a look at the back straight, if we look off into the distance, you can see how humid it is. The air is actually thick looking. It's almost foggy with how humid it is, too. So it's a hot day out here.
Yeah, relative humidity is 97%, so definitely very, very humid. It's gonna be even harder to spot the cars coming off of turn 2. It's that humid. You'll definitely see it on the cameras.
It's not a short race tonight, 165 laps, and it's also not a huge field tonight. I think we're about 20 cars. So that's going to mean that we're going to get hopefully spread out a little bit, and we're going to have some longer runs. And again, this might look very much like Kansas, how we had some cautions in the beginning, but once they get strung out, I think we'll see a lot of green flag running. How about Eli Hinton? This is that brand new Grid Life sponsored car that the wonderful Jordan Ashland painted for us. That Alec Martinez will be running full time next season. And there's another view of it. It's a gorgeous race car. And I have to give a shout out to all the Grid Life guys because I was down in Watkins Glen, of course, today. I'll be there again tomorrow. And my Grid Life buddy Tom O'Gorman ran in the Michelin Pilot Challenge race today, finished P5 after leading some laps and having some tire issues, but they did quite well. And then I met up with Eric Coutil in the garage area. Their team suffered a pretty bad accident after their tire blew out as well. So Eric Coutil's team suffered a similar fate. But of course, those guys from Grid Life, huge thank you to them for giving me the opportunities that I've got this weekend to meet everybody there, as well as back at Gingerman and hopefully at Road Atlanta here in a couple of months. So Grid Life, that Grid Life car will roll off fourth. But that 22 Finian on pole will be interesting to see how he does tonight.
Yeah, again, keeping my eye on him. He needs a good night. Can't really afford. He already kind of had. I forget what the term is. He already had a pretty bad week last week at Bristol, and can't really afford too many others. So he's got to make sure he stays up in the front. And I think, honestly, considering the guys around him, I think he might be able to. Although he should probably keep his eyes on that 13.
165 laps. I think we're going to see multiple grooves potentially tonight with the track temp so hot. I think you can see people search around a little bit. I'm curious to see how late in the run the tires fall off. We might see some people searching around, but again, a relatively small field, a relatively long race. That means we're going to see a lot of interesting things tonight, just like we did at Kansas earlier in the season. Field rolls through turns 3 and 4. Jeremy Miller with that spectacular starting spot in second place. And it's at the 66. That is Gerald Campbell, who's relatively new to the series, or at least doesn't run very often. He's going to start from third place. So a good starting spot for him as well. And that Ford FR500 pace car is going to pull off the racetrack. It's going to leave the field in the hands of Mark Emerson's number 22 Camaro. And from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, green flag flies and we're racing in Vegas.
Oh, Elliott Butler ready to go. He's already to the outside, and we're 3 wide on the front straightaway. As we head off in towards turn 1, no one's going to be around Mark Emerson. He's going to have cleaner, but it's a scramble behind him.
Jeff right in the middle of that as they get down to turn number 1. He's kind of in a bad spot, but he gets to the bottom. Now it's Eli Hinton in the sucker hole, and the 77 of Adam Cabot. He's back in here. He had, you see the 48 get checked over by the 66 down the back straight. Evasive action down into turn 3. Still 3 wide for that second position.
Yeah, and how about Jeff Wright started in 8th, and he's about to get up into second place in 1 lap. And even the 77 of Adam Cabot behind him started in 10th. He's going to be crawling across the line in 4th.
Wow, that's a great start for the 77. I didn't know he started all the way back in 10th. Up to P4 already, looking for 3rd on the inside of the 66. But again, look at the pack racing style we're seeing here. The 30 car, Jeremy Miller, slips up right in front of Butler out of turn 2.
Yeah, he slipped up right, and you see that the field's caught Mark Emerson. So Emerson's busy trying to defend. Woo! And you see almost contact between the 66.
Oh, man. The 77 drifts up, almost hits the 30 out of turn 4, but that 22 cut right across the nose of Jeff Wright. That was almost an incident there. Alex Bell in the background. He goes way up the racetrack, maybe just trying to get out of the fray for now as they complete lap number 2.
I can't blame him for that because everyone moving back and forth, very easy for a caution to come out.
This is a really tense moment for everybody in the field right now, just getting up to grips, kind of feeling the grip out as we take another look at the track temperature. Still 134 degrees. That is hot. It's going to melt these Goodyear tires right off the sides of these race cars. Adam Cabot on the inside of the 66 going for 3rd. Remember, he started 10th. He's flying right now.
Yeah, he moved up quite a few spots. So the 48 and the 77 making quick work through the field early on. And you see now 22 under attack. Here comes Jeff Wright to the inside. Jeff
Wright started 8th. He's up to 2nd by lap number 4, going for the top spot. A great start for him as well. Cabot slides up right in front of the 66. And we'll take that 3rd spot away. As this field starts to get singled out behind the front 10. But these front 10 drivers are being very aggressive right now. And Cabot moves to the high side in turn 4.
And I think they know that eventually that they're not going to be able to do this forever. They're going to try to get as many spots as possible while they can. Cabot working to the outside.
The 8-car Jeremiah Vincent at the tail of this front group, looking to the inside of the 13 of Eli Hinton, who I think he's just trying to be safe right now and just get out of the mess as they go to the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, Hinton second in the points at the moment, only second to Jeff Wright. I think he's just trying to play it safe. You don't want to get yourself involved in an incident, but he's definitely going to try to at least maintain a safe distance with this pack.
I believe Jeff Wright won last week. Is that
Yep.
Bristol? Yeah, so Jeff Wright's coming off of a victory at Bristol that the 13 also could have had, and the 24 Bailey Turner, who I don't believe is here tonight. I don't see him
I
on the
don't
list.
think so either.
But for the top spot, Emerson hangs on, but Cabot goes to the high side. Remember I said multiple grooves? Look at the 77, working that outside lane and going to take the lead away on the back straight.
Yeah, indeed, he's going to be using the outside lane. I think that's going to be probably one of the more preferred lanes tonight, at least the middle groove at least. And you see Cabot still trying to rock it there. Emerson trying to get some ground on the bottom, but that run off the quarter, look at that 77 go.
Side by side for the lead, side by side behind them, but from about 12th on back, it's totally single file, but these front group is just out of control. They're just all over the place looking for positions. The 66 of Campbell trying to come up the middle. They're being very aggressive here early. If something goes wrong, it's going to take out several cars.
Yeah, indeed. How about the 25 Tim Downey Jr. joining the freight train on the outside along the outside of Mark Emerson. Emerson kind of stuck there on the inside.
Look at Elliott Butler on the outside lane. He started 6th. He's only moved up to 5th, but he's going to have a draft from the 25 of Tim Downey Jr. Tim Downey started in 5th. He's up to 4th and pushing that 66 to the 2nd spot as Cabot leads this lap.
Yeah, Cabot assuming the lead of this race. Emerson now stuck kind of back in traffic.
Oh, a bobble by the 77 out of 2. He's got the 66 all over his rear bumper.
And Campbell nowhere for him to go because he's stuck in behind the 77. So, and Emerson getting really tight in the middle of the corner as well.
And here comes the 25 of Tim Downey Jr. up to the high side. So I think what we're seeing is that it's very difficult to hold that inside groove. I think the outside is going to be the place to be. Cabot comes over right in front of the 66 down into turn number 1.
Yeah, Emerson's still chucking it up in there, but watch him slide slowly up the track just a little bit every single lap. You see him getting loose on exit.
Vincent and the 48 of Jeff Wright almost made contact. The 48 car goes all the way to the inside line to avoid wadding up the field, and he does. But for the top spot, Campbell drops to the inside of the 77 out of turn 4.
Yeah, so Gerald Campbell now trying to take the lead away. But again, I really think for the lead, I feel like you're not going to be able to take it on the inside, at least now.
Emerson drops down to 4th place that time through, looking for 3rd again on the inside of Tim Downey Jr. Here comes Jeremiah Vincent's Wrangler number 8 up to the outside lane and just slid into a hole that almost didn't exist. He's gone from 7th to 4th.
Yeah, he started to kick into high gear. I think he feels now is the time to charge up to the front while people have their tires worn out. See Emerson trying to defend that position on the bottom.
Oh, there he slips.
He gets loose, hits the 8.
He turns them on the front straightaway. They save it. They'll continue. No caution. Still green flag. And the 22 will rejoin in front of the 8. That was a disaster averted on lap number 11. Let's take a quick look at how that started. I think the 22 got loose on the bottom, and I talked to some of the administrators pre-race, and they said that this was going to be an issue. You see the 22 is going to just bobble right here, slip up a little bit, gets into the 8, and they both spin to the inside, but hang on to it and continue. What a great job those guys did.
Oh, Elliott Butler has just lost connection to the server.
Oh, man. And for Butler, he had just turned things on correctly the last couple weeks. He's been flying, and then the bad luck hits tonight, so loses connection. Meanwhile, Jeff Wright to the inside of the 30 of Jeremy Miller, who's trying to get his spots back after dropping down early, starting 2nd. But the top 3 have broken away: Cabot, Campbell, Downey Jr. Completing lap number 12 here, Finian, and I take a look at my notes real quick. 39 laps is about a run here on the fuel tank. About 4, actually at least 4 pit stops. And lap 126 to be able to make it to the end. So we'll see how that plans out. But you see, even the 66 and 77, they chased their cars down to the bottom of the racetrack, and then they slipped up and couldn't hold that inside line. So we take a look back behind Joshua Banks. This is a battle for 11th. There's Alec Martinez, Jordan Ashton, Mark Emerson all back here, kind of in a dogfight.
Yeah, these guys are kind of the only ones still battling it on. You see Emerson, and again, started in first, now all the way back in 14th. So he's got a lot of ground to make forward. I think what he needs right now too is a caution, because right now his tires are shot. He was running that inside lane for quite a while, and everyone else around him has just been kind of riding it out. So they got fresher tires to do it. So he's just kind of a sitting duck with a damaged car.
And on the outside of the 19 of Jacob Plank. Alec Martinez, I expect him to move forward slowly but steadily tonight. Started 16th up to 12th. Remember, he excelled in conditions almost exactly like this at Kansas at the beginning of the season. Supposed to be good for him. Meanwhile, up at the front, battle for the lead. Cabot still has it, but Campbell is chasing him down, and it was a 10th quicker last time by.
Yep, and here comes Campbell to the inside. He's going to charge the inside of Cabot. Will he be successful, though, in that run off the corner? It's so hard to beat.
It's going to be very difficult to make that pass work. Got a car on the fence in the background. It's the 29 of Angelo Ronas, scraped the wall out of turn 2. Minor damage, he'll continue. That's a new livery on board that car this week. Very colorful paint scheme. And he's slipping and sliding in turn 4. He's all sorts of loose, but will continue to hang on. Gerald Campbell is just trying to track down the 77. They were dead even last time. Both cars run a 32.416. That is really impressive.
Yeah, behind them, Jeff Wright trying to muscle his way around the 83 of Brandon Gagnon, and he's going to do exactly that. Eli Hinton trying to follow the 48 through.
Gagnon started 12th, so he's climbed his way up 6 or 7 spots tonight.
Yeah, and notably, too, the 83, remember the 13 of Eli Hinton? Whoa, 83 slipped in the corner, almost hits the 13. He's going to save it, though.
And behind him, Jeremy Miller and Bruce Boyer, they were 3 wide with the 15 of Alex Bell, who moves up into the 7th spot. Brian Chambliss slow. I think he's had an issue out of turn 4. Let's take a quick look. Yes, here's another replay of it, but I think he just got loose out of turn 4 and slipped up the racetrack and slid into the grass, very much like we saw happen with Emerson. Yes, just got loose and held on to it. We'll continue. Battles all over this racetrack. How about Eddie Trejo in the 11 putting the effort up to the rear bumper, the 14. And again, that's Gagnon in the Mountain Dew car, who's on the apron on the front straightaway.
Yeah, and a battle for third going on between the 25 and the 48. Looks like Downey Jr. is going to give it up to Wright.
And Wright's going to complete that pass. And there's Eli Hinton as the 13. He started up in, I believe, 4th place and running 5th at the moment and just trying to track his way back forward. He's looking the right direction. Remember, the 13 was an incredible battle last week with the 48 for the win at Bristol and ended up losing that fight as he looks to put pressure on the 25 of Tim Downey Jr. Brandon Gagnon pulling off the racetrack, Phineas.
Yeah, not sure what happened to him.
And Eli Hinton goes around the 25 of Tim Downey Jr. will take 4th place away. Will regain his starting spot. Okay, I think we can take a breath for a quick moment. After 19 laps of racing, we have about 20 laps until the drivers will be forced to pit for fuel. Drop-off in lap times has been about 1.5 seconds in this 20 laps.
It looks like Gagnon's just getting service to his car. Let's see if he comes out. And yeah, so he made a pit stop, 4 tires and fuel for the 83.
And look at the 13 all the way up at the top of the racetrack. I said in the pre-race that we may see multiple lines. This is about as close as we're going to get this season with this package. Joshua Banks was mighty close to that turn 2 wall as he came off with Alec Martinez hunting him down.
Yeah, Banks slowly starting to move his way back up, currently in 10th. We'll see how many more positions he can get. And also just in the 18 too, Martinez, he's going to begin his slow crawl up.
You can almost cut the air with a knife with how thick it is right now at the high humidity here. It almost makes the track look foggy. Now let's check in on our track conditions, Finney. 136 degrees. The record on SimTV is 140. We may get there today.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't be too surprised just considering how hot it is. It's about 130 in the sim, middle of the day, and with these cars running around, they're just putting more heat on the track.
Joshua Banks going around Eddie Trejo. Trejo's tight out of turn 4, and Alec Martinez almost gets into him. Close quarters there.
Battle for second going on. Jeff Wright to the inside of the 66. Looks like he might get it here. Campbell's still going to fight on the outside.
You beat me to it. I was just about to call that out as the 48 goes to the bottom, chases the car down the racetrack. I think he was loose, and it's going to be a drag race down the netless straightaway off into turn 3. I think the inside line should prevail here, but no, the 66 gets a better run. It's going to drive right back around the outside of Jeff Wright. And here comes Eli Hinton.
Yeah, Hinton's gonna be able to catch with these guys now. He's got to make a decision. Does he go along with Jeff Wright, or does he try to go along with the 66?
I would think The 13's going to stick to that outside lane. That's what's been working for him. And look at him. He's way up. He's higher than we've seen anybody so far. Look at him wheeling this car. This is so much like the old package fitting and how these guys are driving this car right now, just with a little bit less horsepower.
Yeah, indeed. And especially a good job by Hinton. I think what he's trying to do is just kind of stay out of the air from these guys to get a better line through the corner. You see 66. He's starting to slip in the corner on the outside lane. Here comes Jeff Wright. I think Wright might take it here. Hinton going to do the same.
Yeah, big bobble there for the 66 out of turn 4. Let's go let the 13 get to the inside, and this is not where Hinton's been comfortable so far, so I think he's going to end up missing out on this opportunity. He'll try again later. He slips up the racetrack, so does the 66. As we work our way towards lap number 25, battle for third.
Yeah, battle for third going on, and yeah, Campbell's really starting to wear out his tires, and I wonder if it's from all that, moving around at the beginning, at the start of the race, wearing out this tires. I think he's starting to pay the price for that.
Could be. Meanwhile, Tim Downey Jr. running 5th right now after starting 5th, so he's pretty much stayed exactly put. But this is a really good run for this 25 team. And this race has been green for all 25 laps so far, as you got that battle in front of them raging. The 13 might actually get this spot complete, and he does. Move the 13 back up into 3rd.
Indeed. And also a report to Elliott Butler. He's back out on the track, however, 8 laps down.
Okay, so shame for the 6-car Butler. Battle for, looks like 9th place right now. Actually, if you make that 8th, that's Bruce Boyer, Joshua Banks, and Alec Martinez. Martinez goes to the high side right behind Boyer. He was going to push him. Now they almost take him 3 wide, but he backs out of that and gives the 14 a shove.
Let's see, does Martinez look to the inside in the corner? He's going to stay in the middle lane.
Oh, the 19 of Jacob Plank way high. I don't think he meant to go that high in the corner. He almost wiped out, but he held on to it. Boyer tight. He's to lose that spot to Hinton and also to Jacob Plank.
Yeah, indeed. So Boyer going to drop back quickly, lose quite a few spots. So this little group of cars, Banks, Martinez, and even Plank, they're all starting to move their way up. Banks loose off of 4. Almost takes out Alec Martinez.
Yeah, so Martinez drops to the inside. It'll be a drag race between these two as we complete lap number 26 and move on to 27. Battle for the lead is subsided for now. It's a half a second between Cabot and Jeff Wright. And look at Martinez continuing his climb forward. He's taking a look at 7th place on Jeremy Miller. Remember, I said it before, this 18 won Kansas in conditions that were almost identical. That 18 car might pick to win today.
Yeah, honestly, that's not bad. If you looked at it just on paper before, it looked like he had no shot. But I mean, yeah, he's slowly starting to move his way up to the front of the field. The leaders aren't that far away; they're less than a straightaway away from the 18. So, with some strategy, he might be able to get himself back up there.
Let's quickly check in on the battle for 4th place. It's Jared Campbell and Tim Downey Jr. beginning to reel in that 66 car. And in the background, you see out of turn 2, that's Joshua Banks and Jacob Plank beginning to close in on each other for 9th.
Yeah, this is what I'm interested in, is seeing Plank's kind of got me curious. Started in 20th, yeah, pretty much started dead last in 20th. He's currently up into 10th, so it looks like he's got enough pace to get a few more spots.
Boyer down to the inside on the front straightaway, but won't be able to make that pass. But you see how look at how much the line has moved up to the top of the racetrack. That 27 to Jordan Ashland's as high as Eli Hinton has been, as we have a battle for 3rd place as Gerald Campbell has reeled in that 13 car again.
Yeah, Campbell trying to come back at the 13 as he's looking to the inside. And also, Jeff Wright has caught the leader, Adam Cabot, so these two are about to slug it out.
You see just up the road, those front 2 leaders. We're going to keep watching the battle for 3rd for a moment. That 66 bringing the heat to that Grid Life car.
Yeah, indeed. I'm actually...
He's loose!
Hits the apron, and that knocks his car loose, and he's going to lose all his momentum.
And all that position he had just gained on the 13. Meanwhile, for the lead, Jeff Wright all over the back of Cabot. Here he comes to the inside of the turn 4. And pit stops should be starting the next couple laps as well.
Yeah, and Wright's been pretty strong on that inside off 4, and I'm curious, since pit stops are going to start, I'm curious if he's going to just kind of wait in behind the 77, or if he is going to try to make the pass before the pit cycle begins.
I think he want to be going for it. Low grip, high action here early in the going, lap number 31 of 165. This has certainly been the most entertaining 31 laps I think we've seen all season in this series.
Yeah, and as you say that, Mario Martinez just got by Alex Bell for 6th place.
That 18 car is the fastest car on the track, or at least he was last time by. He is flying right now.
Yeah, no, he is one of the I think he is the fastest car on the track. I was looking at everyone else this time. He is the fastest car on the track, faster than all of our leaders and every single car up ahead. So he's starting to make some really good ground here as we're about to approach pit stops.
And we talked earlier in the season about whether Alec Martinez had his advantage ripped away from him. He seems like he had really been a lot better on the older package with the low downforce, high power. And it didn't seem like he really embraced this package, and it seemed like he was struggling a little bit. But when you get hot temperatures, that kid is ridiculously fast. Jeff Wright slid 3 lanes up the racetrack right behind Cabot. He is on it right now.
Yeah, and battle's still going on for third place. Hinton and Campbell side by side. And I think Hinton's starting to feel the burn on his tires. He's losing some pace, and Campbell just goes by him on the inside.
Yeah, I think Hinton went really hard in the middle sector of that run and really kind of paid the price for it in the late going here. Meanwhile, behind, that is the 35 of Joshua Banks, or 36 rather, and Jacob Snow. That's the lap down machine. That's Brennan Gagnon's 83, and the 19 and Jacob Plank behind. Yeah, it's battle for the lead again. Jeff Wright had a look at him and was side by side for a moment, has dropped in behind again. Car on pit road, it's Mark Emerson's number 22. He's got some pretty significant right front damage. I'd have to imagine that's from the contact with the 8 of Jeremiah Vincent. Neither of these cars has recovered very well.
Yeah, no, I mean, really, they needed a caution. And probably, honestly, I mean, not to really do it on purpose, but honestly, they probably should have spun around, because the way we're going out, we're looking for a very green race. A lot of people spread out at the moment, and very unlikely of a caution unless someone were to spin out. But yeah, that 22, ever since getting that contact, has not been the same, and this might not be Mark Emerson's night right here.
We're about to see a mass exodus of cars to pit road because they can only make it about 4 more laps on fuel, so I guarantee you pit road is going to be a very busy place momentarily. These two up front continue to battle as we look deeper in the field to find that battle with Joshua Banks, Jacob Plank, and now Bruce Boyer. That's all for 9th.
Yeah, it is all for 9th as, they still haven't really been able to. Plank and Banks have not been able to get away from each other. As Plank looks to the wall, he's really trying to get around the 35 or 36 car.
Bobble from the 19 momentarily, but for the top spot again, the 48 chasing the 77. If I were the 48, I'd be coming a lap before the 77, so I would say come at lap 37 or 38 and let that 77 run out of fuel. You want the tires, the drop-off is about 1.5 seconds since the beginning of the run, so it would get him out in front. I think that's the move you play.
Yeah, still no takers to pit road, so not a lot of people have come yet.
I think they're just going to run the tanks out for the most part here. Is that battle for third heating back up? I don't think Eli Hinton's lost any pace compared to Gerald Campbell later in this run. They follow the leader through turns 3 and 4.
Whoa, Cabot was very loose off of 4. Jeff Wright's got the run. He's going to go all the way to the inside. Cabot going to try to block it off, but Wright is there.
Yeah, this is really interesting because that shortcut down on the apron is quicker. See Wright go to the top spot, or try to at least. He slips up the racetrack and can't get it done, but that apron on the front straight, you can go down there all you want and make passes, but if you go down there and someone moves their car over that white line, you cannot just force your way back up. You have to blend seamlessly. And that may or may not happen late in the race when drivers are doing more taking than giving.
And lap 30, completing lap 30, still no takers on pit road, except for Mark Emerson.
Yeah, so Mark Emerson's the only driver that's been there. I still think we're going to see a bunch head to pit lane all at once, and we could see the entire field on at once.
I think I know why. I think these guys are going to try to do 41 laps.
Ooh, that's stretching it a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's what they're aiming for, what it looks like. We'll see here if we get any takers, but it's kind of close on fuel.
A couple cars have come. Jeremy Miller and Angelo Ronis have made it. And the leaders stay out again. Does anybody else come, though? I don't think so. No other takers this lap.
So everyone trying to stretch their fuel out.
This is a little bit longer than we thought they could go. I'm wondering if they're having to lift even a little bit, and if that's saving them enough fuel, or even just the draft. I think the 77s might be peeling off to come this time. Nope. Slips up in front of the 48 of the exit of turn 4.
Yep, and here comes Jeff Wright to the inside. Cabot squeezes him down, what's going to let that 48 merge back on, and can Wright take it in the corner here?
No.
Cabot gets a good run on that outside. He's going to try to pinch that 48 down.
Side by side again, the 77 will retain the lead as they enter the backstretch again for the 41st time. Alec Martinez has caught, I was just about to say, he has caught that 13 car of Eli Hinton. Alec Martinez started at the tail of the field.
Cabot. Down on pit road.
All right, here he comes. We'll cut that story short.
So does the 66. So I would say from here, you're not necessarily good on fuel. You're very close. And these guys will, if they pit every 41 laps, are going to be about 1 lap short. So they're going to have to save an extra lap here and there. I think the guys going 42 laps are going to be very close, but I think they should be able to make it.
Alec Martinez is now passing Eli Hinton. This 18 car will win this race if he doesn't mess it up himself. And he is flying right now.
If Jeff Wright down on pit road, well, he is sideways.
But
he looks like he'll get it low down, yep.
Martinez and Hinton staying out another lap, as are some other drivers. We really didn't think they were going to be able to go this far, but they managed to stretch the fuel a couple extra laps.
Yeah, so I'd say from here on out, I think they're pretty much good on 3 stops.
Mark Emerson right now is pitting as if it was a 4-stop race. So Martinez leads this race right now. We expect to see them on pit road very shortly. Another lap again as the 13 peels off.
Yeah, 13 peels off 25 of Tim Downey Jr. He's coming in.
Oh, Hinton, he was in fast. He locked up the brakes coming into pit lane, and he better hope and pray that the speeding police weren't paying attention to that one.
If he got it low down, he might get away with it. Yeah, I think he might get away with it.
Martinez still on the racetrack. So is Joshua Banks, Jeremiah Vincent, Brian Chambliss.
Oh, but he won't get away from this. Hinton goes through his pit stall.
Oh, man. Here comes the 18 to pit road from the lead. And Joshua Banks comes in as well. Jeremiah Vincent, he's 3 wide with some other cars that are still out or have already made their pit stops. And the 8 will come to pit lane. So everyone is making their pit stop or has made their pit stop.
Wow, look at the gap between Adam Cabot and Jeff Wright.
Wow. Over 2.5 seconds. There's Cabot. There's Wright. And Gerald Campbell splitting, or excuse me, Brendan Gagnon splitting the difference.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the gap's going to be between Alec Martinez and company.
Well, Martinez, again, about 1.5 seconds or 2 wear on the tires at the end, or at least the fall off. So he'll lose a lot of ground to the guys he was racing, but he was going so fast before, he'll make it all up by the end of the run again.
Yeah, he's got Elliott Butler approaching as well as Alex Bell up behind him. It looks like Alex Bell's going to clear him.
So that will put Alec Martinez back in 6th place. Eli Hinton, with his mistake, has fallen to 8th. Tim Downey Jr., a similar mistake, I am assuming, because these guys came in kind of nose to tail already. And right behind Jeremy Miller, who started 2nd tonight in that number 30, back in 10th at the moment. But Cabot gets the lead away, or back rather, from Jeff Wright, and now 2.8 seconds is the lead. And last time by, Jeff Wright was quicker. Actually, excuse me, no, the 77 was quicker.
Yeah, so curious how this is going to play. We'll see this time through how the speeds compare.
At the line, Cabot ran a 31.201, and Jeff Wright ran a 31.322. So Cabot continues to pull away. And if you take a look, Wright actually pitted after Adam, so he should be quicker.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that it swung the other way.
Now, what Brandon Gagnon needs is a caution. This 83 car has been out for almost 30 laps on his set of tires. He's in 4th place at the moment. A caution would save him.
I'm still surprised he came in as early as he did. But I guess unless he's got something up his sleeve that we don't know about.
Oh, whoa! Out of turn 4, very close quarters between Jeremy Miller and Bruce Boyer. Let's go back and take a quick look at that. That was maybe an inch. Oh, there was contact, actually, a little bit. I just realized I have the Spec MX-5 replay screen. I'll fix that. Hold on, let me fix that while we're here. There we go. All better. And returning to the racetrack, Bruce Boyer and Jeremy Miller continue to fight. Oh, Butler's all sorts of sideways out of turn 4, but he saves it.
Yeah, remember Butler on older tires because he had to come in and get back out there, and he's been off pace ever since. But yeah, he's really loose on the tires. I think he's going to be coming in for his stop soon.
Our pole sitter, Mark Emerson, off sequence and off strategy, pulls up in front of the 30. The 30 of Miller swings to the inside down the back straight, and he'll drive right on by. Like the 22 is at a toll. I'm thinking like highway terminology. I've been in the car all day. All right.
Yeah, okay, so last time through, Wright ran quicker than Cabot by 0.2 of a second. Now, he really needs to start picking up time, because if he doesn't really make up that much time on this run, he might be able to. He might be handing this race off to the 77.
Alex Bell and Alec Martinez battling for 4th, and the 18's going to drive right on by. And that Monster Energy Alienware car will take 4th place away. But you mentioned the gap starting to dwindle. Looks like Wright has found a line and is beginning to reel in the 77, albeit very slowly.
Yeah, so he's starting to go in the right direction, making up some time. Although I really think next time through he should probably try to beat the 77 down on pit road.
I think that would have been
trying to make up some time.
I think that would have been the way to go before. Is Brendan Gagnon? He's fallen to 10th. And here comes Mark Emerson, Jacob Plank. They're fighting for 11th right behind him, and they're going to approach him very quickly with a head of steam. Lots of passing on the racetrack right now. The 36 goes middle 3 wide between Mark Emerson and the 83 of Gagnon and takes 2 spots in one fell swoop. Banks is a wheelman.
Yeah, here comes Jordan Ashton trying to do much of the same. He's gone past the 83 now, trying to get to the inside of the 22.
And he'll do it. Completes the pass for 12th. Tim Downey Jr., Eli Hinton fighting for 6th. The 25 is past the 13. But Hinton trying to bring the fight back to him. What do you think? Good time for a SimTV Sound Surge?
I think so.
Alrighty. In that time, we were doing the sound surge. The 48 car, Jeff Wright, has chopped that lead in half. It's 1.3 seconds. Meanwhile, Jordan Ashland has received some major damage to the front end of his number 27 and the rear. He's been in the fence pretty hard, and we're going to try to go back and find out what happened. This was with Jeremy Miller out of turn 4 here, Finian.
Yeah, amazing. This is the second thing that almost was a caution, man. Just wrong place, wrong time for the 27, as Jeremy Miller was just loose off the corner.
And just collided. Nothing that the 27 could have done to miss that. And Mark Emerson taking evasive action. But we'll continue with no caution so far, 58 laps into this race. So Jeff Wright is reeled in the lead down to 1.7 seconds. It was about 2.4 at one point. And battle for ninth going on between Joshua Banks and Jacob Plank. And for 14th, Angelo Ronas and Mark Emerson.
Yeah, these guys are trying to make up what ground they lost. I'm surprised Ronas has dropped back as far as the guys. Not sure what's happened to him. Actually, looking at the right side of his car, I think I could see what happened to him.
Oh. All right, let's check back in with Eli Hinton, Tim Downey Jr. These guys traded spots back and forth a couple times. Hinton will maintain 6th place, but Alec Martinez, though, looking at the lap times, 0.2 quicker than the leaders. He is flying right now, and it's about 3.7 between him and 2nd place Jeff Wright, 5.6 up to the lead. But this 18 car is on the move.
Yeah, definitely, though. He's really got to make sure he makes up quite a bit of time here if he wants a chance of winning this race. He's definitely on for a very good run. But again, he needs to, if he wants to win this race, which is pretty much what he's out for, not in the chase. So he's just going for the W at this point. He needs to make sure he gets a lot of time and needs to be running really good laps.
That's a good point. He has won a race this season back at Kansas Speedway, but did not, unfortunately, did make the chase this season. He'll have to try again. Next season, he'll be under the Sim Motorsports wing. Taking a look at our track conditions, it's about 135, so it seems like it's kind of stabilized there, but still very, very hot out there. Banks, Plank, and Boyer all fighting for 8th. Now Martinez is 0.3 faster a lap than the leaders. He is just on a mission. It's not even close.
Yeah, and actually, Wright looks like he's starting to fall off the pace as well. So Cabot now putting a gap between himself and 2nd place.
Cabot's just been executing this race perfectly. He's done such a good job this season and didn't make the chase this time around, but has certainly put on a show and been very competitive this season. And hopefully when he returns next season, he'll be even better and stronger and can win even more races. But Jeff Wright has won a bunch of races this season and now trying to chase down that 77. Looks like he's losing ground, not only to the 77, but to the trailing number 18 of Martinez. Back to that battle with Banks and Boyer. How about a guy we haven't mentioned at all tonight, I don't think, is that number 21 of Brian Chambliss, sitting in 11th at the moment. Jeremiah Vincent trying to recover, who's running very well earlier in the race and had contact with the 22 out of turn 4 and has not been able to get any spots back since then.
Yeah, I was going to say, but all things considered, he's doing a pretty solid job trying to get back 11th at the moment, considering the damage he has to that car and what happened to him to put him off the pace.
And trying to cross over. Whoa! Emerson back on pit lane, it sounds like. Yes, he is. The 8 car was pedaling it through the middle of 1 and 2, trying to get to the inside of the 21. Wasn't able to do it, but it was certainly a very interesting moment he had. Martinez has chopped the lead between him and Cabot down to 4.9 seconds. It was 5.6 just a few laps ago.
Oh, and it looks like Emerson he's going to call it a night.
Oh.
And I think that's going to put the nail in the coffin for his championship hopes right there.
Yeah, it's hasn't really been a good second half of the season for that 22 after starting off quite strong. I'm just continuing to watch this 18. So here's the 77, here's the 48, here's the 18. And there's 4th place Gerald Campbell and 5th place Alex Bell. How about this for the driver number 15? Didn't he win the Roval a few weeks back?
Yes.
Pretty sure he did. Or no, he finished 3rd or something. He finished quite well. Oh no, I can't remember who won the Roval. It's been a couple weeks. I have no idea.
Oh, it was Joshua Banks.
Joshua Banks. My mind is completely fried.
It was Banks, Hinton, Bell, top 3 in that race.
Again, for anyone that's just joined us late as we watch this battle for 11th, I've been at Watkins Glen all weekend, and my voice is shot, and my body is very sunburned, and I have the memory capacity of an elephant.
No. Elephants are pretty smart.
I love the way you said, no. I meant goldfish. That's what I was going for. I know they're not exactly even close to the same animal.
That's how you know you have a long day.
Because fish are rodents. No, wait, hold on, that's not right. Fish are.
Fish.
Fish are fish. Okay, I'm sorry. This is really unprofessional, but that was funny. All right, carrying on for the lead. Cabot leads by 2.3 seconds over Jeff Wright. Alec Martinez is 4.6 back from Wright, 2.3 back from, 4.6 back from Cabot, 2.3 back from Wright.
Yeah, and Martinez has been doing a fantastic job reeling him in. I definitely think, honestly, at the rate he's going at if this race goes green, he'll definitely catch Jeff Wright. Although I'm having my slight doubts about Cabot because Cabot's putting on a pretty solid pace as well.
It's got a solid pace, but the fastest car on the racetrack by 0.2 every single lap is that Alienware Camaro. We're closing in on halfway here, Finian. Pit stops coming up in roughly 10 to 15 laps. Now, if you're Martinez, you don't really need to stretch it like you did in the first run, right? Can't you just do 41, 41, 40, or whatever is left? And he ran 43 laps last time. There's no need for him to do that now because he's guaranteed himself a 3-stop race.
Yeah, you can pretty much go to 41. You should be able to make it to the end without a problem.
So we expect him to pit on about lap 85. Chambliss and Vincent still fighting for 11th.
Yeah, well, we got a bit of a lull in the action. So I'm looking at the points right now, and I think going after this week, we can eliminate a lot of drivers. So right now, who have a chance at the championship. So Casey Lakatos and Bailey Turner, they're both not here. So then you can kind of eliminate them out of that. Emerson, he DNF'd and he's low on the points. You can kind of take him out of the equation. Ronis is kind of struggling, so I wouldn't call him entirely done for him, but it's not looking too hot. Elliot Butler kind of in the same boat. He's really far down. He's going to struggle tonight too. That effectively leaves Wright, Hinton, and Bell up in the chase for it, and they're both all of those guys are running really well tonight in the top 5.
Interesting update. The 21 and 8 have got to be exhausted with each other. These guys have been side by side and on each other's bumpers for the last 10 to 15 laps. They were side by side for about 3 laps in a row, and so I'm sure they're getting a little tired of each other at this point. Meanwhile, for the top spot, Jeff Wright has actually begun to reel in Cabot once again. The gap is only 1.4, but I'm going to keep my eye on this battle for 11th because these guys continue to race each other as if they're racing for the lead.
Yeah, heck, they really don't have much else to do out there. A lot of the guys are spread out. These 3 are the closest fighting for position.
The 8 car gets on by, and we'll move our attention quickly back to Alex Bell because he's got a hungry Eli Hinton chasing him down, and Hinton probably should have won the race at Bristol last week, but there was that dramatic moment between Bailey Turner and Jeff Wright on the last lap where they got together, and Jeff Wright threw a huge block and then just sent it into turn 3, smashing off the wall, and they crossed the line sideways. But that 13 car, had the 48 not made that move, he probably would have won the race. Of course, I think everybody was pretty happy with how last week went, just because it was such a cool race to watch.
Yeah, I'm actually glad that those two guys went off without any problems between each other. I think they both enjoyed that finish, just how close it was. So nice to see they're on good terms. And I mean, yeah, but really, I think that we're gonna, for the chase for the rest of it, we're gonna have to keep an eye on the 48, the 15, and the 13. I think they're gonna be our fastest guys competing for this championship. And Bell also not giving all the room in the world to Hinton. He's trying to keep him in behind.
I was just gonna say that was pretty a little tight there. All right, gap between the leaders only 1 second now as Jeff Wright reels it in down to 0.9 of a second, and Martinez is only 3.3 back. He's made up so much time and continue. Last time by, just for reference here, Alec Martinez was 0.4 of a second quicker than your leader, Adam Cabot.
Yeah, and I was expecting Martinez to fall just a little bit. I was expecting him to still catch Cabot, but at a slower pace. But he's really putting in good times right now. And every single lap, this is looking more and more like this 18's race.
Yeah, he bobbled a little bit out of turn 4. He still ran a 32.5, which is 0.3 faster than the 77's last lap. taking a moment to take a breather. Without commercials, it's like hard to talk for this long.
I know. And now we see that Fox has one every 20 laps.
They rest their voices nicely. I don't get to rest my voice. I'm going to go back yelling for 6 hours tomorrow.
Yes, expecting pit stops within about 6 laps or so.
Yeah, I think for the 18, I would say he'll pit lap 85 if he goes on a 41-lap stint. So here's a look at your lap since pit for the top 15.
Yeah, and again, there's really, especially considering how bad the fall-off is, there's really no point in stretching it longer than you need to. And you should try to get fresh tires on the car as soon as possible.
The only driver I think that should maybe go a couple more laps than he needs to is the 18, because he's making up so much ground anyway that even if he gives up a second or two, he'll gain it all back at the end of the run. I just don't think he should stay out 3 or 4 laps longer than the leaders.
They definitely should. That gap between the leader of Cabot and right now, almost half a second, or pretty much at half a second as they come out of 2. And Martinez, the gap under 3 seconds for him as he gets around the lap car of Angelo Ronas.
And that battle for 5th is pretty hot between Bill and Hinton. Hinton putting on a show, trying to chase down that 15 car. But our lead is about to get tight here, Finian. 0.4 of a second and closing for that top spot.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing how it all started out. Remember, these guys were pretty much like this when they came in for pit stops. And they're finding themselves caught up with each other at the end of the run.
And an 18 car in the background is just saying, please fight.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's going to help him. Although, I honestly, with the pace he's going at, I don't think he's going to need that help.
Actually, last time by, the 18 still was the quickest car on the racetrack, at least in the top 10. But the 77 wasn't all that much slower that time through. So I think they're beginning to equalize. The 18 was the fastest of the top 5. 0.2 quicker than Cabot, 1/10 quicker than Wright, and 2.2 back from this fight for the lead we have now.
Yeah, and it looks like Martinez is starting to taper off just a little bit. But yeah, Cabot and Wright beginning to slug it out. Just they're trying to deviate from the lines, hold each other up. So that's going to help Martinez.
Oh, here comes the 77 to pit road and the 48 with them.
Oh, and 48 is going to come in a lot hotter, and even Martinez is going to come in.
Wow. And here comes
This is it.
mass exodus to pit lane here, Finney. What do you think about this?
I think it's kind of early. I'm a little bit surprised, I'm not going to lie.
I think the 18 just followed him down just to stay in this fight, which I like this call. He's on equal playing field now. Alex Bell is also in. Angelo Ronas also came in.
Yeah, so this is really going to be an interesting view of this fight to see how all these guys are on equal terms.
Alec Martinez is free, and there is Cabot and Jeff Wright's going to win the race off of pit road, and the 18, I think, is going to actually gain some ground in this whole process as well. These two are going to race each other onto the banking.
Indeed they are. I'm trying to see who has stayed out so far. So Hinton's actually stayed out. He's currently leading this race. Banks has also decided to stay out as well.
Riding on board.
Tim Downey Jr.
Riding on board with Tim Downey Jr. as he chases down Joshua Banks. This will be for second on the racetrack, but of course, in the middle of the pit sequence, they'll drop back to where they were running, back to about 5th or 6th after the pit stop sequence is over. Here comes the 25.
So battle for the what would be the lead between the 77 and the 48. They're going at it with fresh tires.
And here comes the 18 of Martinez into the picture as they go side by side for the lead.
Whoa, and Cabot slides in front of the 48. 48 is going to switch over, and these guys are having none of it. They know this is going to be the fight for the lead.
And now they're on completely equal ground, so they have to race each other hard, because neither one is going to have a tire advantage later in the race unless one abuses the other. Martinez last time by was still quicker.
Whoa, 3 away for between Cabot and Wright, Gagnon in the middle.
Whoa, that's tight on a turn 2.
I don't know how they did not wreck there, and Cabot's going to get the lead through all that. Wow.
Let's go back. I was just taking out another car, so let's just take a look at the replay here as they split the 83. That was close. And back out, they're still side by side.
And it's still waiting on quite a few cars to come down on pit road. The entire top 5 have yet to come down. Eddie Trejo is just coming down now. Still waiting on Vincent, Plankson, Banks, and Hinton.
Martinez just ran the fastest lap of his race. The quickest lap belongs to Alex Bell, who just ran his quickest lap of the race.
Yeah, so everyone right now in the fresh car is making good use of it.
So Cabot is going to take what will eventually be the lead away from the 48. And Martinez, still lapping quicker, has reeled them both in. And drops to the inside of Gagnon in turn 3.
Yeah, and Martinez has gained a lot of time, so I think this might be working out for him here.
The question is, the thing is that he hasn't even been abusing his stuff. He never dropped off. Not nearly as much as the rest of the field did on that last run. So it's not like he's burning up his stuff early in the run and then losing it at the end. He's just been consistently quicker than everybody else by 2 to 3 tenths a lap for the majority of the run.
Okay, Hinton, Banks, and Vincent also coming in, so the lead is going to cycle out.
For the top spot, still separated by about a tenth of a second at the start-finish line. Martinez just out of frame to the right.
Yeah, Martinez is definitely there, so well, I'm curious now. We've seen him work through traffic that he was faster than, but here he is fighting up for the lead. I'm curious how his car is going to handle.
Came all the way back from 16th, charged up to the top 5, and then has just slowly been climbing his way up patiently on his newer tires. The last run came in and pit with the leaders on this run and is now reeling him in. He's down to half a second back from those top 2.
Yeah, Wright and Cabot running a lane higher. They're already right in the middle line. Martinez still down low on the bottom.
This has been, so far, I think the best race of the season for these guys. Not a single caution in sight. These front 2 have been battling for dozens of laps on end. We've got comers and goers, and of course, the hot temperatures making this drive a lot more like these cars used to a year ago.
Yeah, indeed. It really is put on a fantastic show as Wright and Cabot are side by side. Wright trying to take the lead back, but you can see he is struggling with those tires now at this point.
And how about the new sponsor on board the 77, the Lawn Tech machine? No longer sponsored by Glycoflex. So a new sponsor for the 77, and he's definitely giving them their money's worth this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Ooh, they both of them come pretty close to the wall.
Alex Bell, Gerald Campbell, they're side by side for 4th place. The 15 has also been slowly climbing his way forward.
Yeah, he also looks like he's trying to get back in his run, although he's about almost 10 seconds behind the leader, so he's got a long ways to go, but he's going to try to get around Jared Campbell right ahead of him.
Leaders nose to tail of the high side at a turn 4. Close quarters for a moment. The 48 drops to the inside lane across the line. That time, the gap was indistinguishable. Timing and scoring says the gap didn't exist.
Yeah, I actually got the number, 13 thousandths of a second between them.
Wow. And Martinez is there.
So now what I wonder, though, for Martinez is what is he going to do? Is he going to try to let these guys duke it out more, wear out their tires more, or is he going to go for it right now?
Well, he's been really patient so far, which patience has not been his strong suit in the past, but in this season he's definitely figured something out. I think he waits here for a moment, but if he gets an opportunity, he'll go for it. He knows he's faster. I mean, he's tracked them down from way back. There's no need to push this and ruin it now.
Especially right now, too, it'll be really sketchy if he does make it 3 wide, as these guys are cutting it close 2 wide.
And still a tenth quicker than the leaders last time through.
And I think here he is going to go on the inside. He's going to run that bottom lane, get a nice run off the corner. He's going to go to the outside of the 48. Here he comes.
Alec Martinez from 16th up to 2nd as he goes around the outside of the 48. Jeff Wright's going to get tight on the bottom, won't be able to hold that line. And the 18 will get 2nd place away, right loose on the bottom.
Yeah, now Cabot, loose also coming out of turn 4, and now here comes Martinez with the run to the inside. He goes.
And in one fell swoop, the young kid who lots of people had doubts in this year, he won at Kansas, and at times he's not been the most popular driver in the paddock, but he goes from 16th to 1st in a slow and steady 95 laps. Alec Martinez to the lead.
Yep, and here he comes. He's going to come back out of 40 and officially lead a lap. But yeah, just a solid climb to the front. Took him over half the race, but I mean, doesn't matter how many laps he led. This matters in his case. Just really matters leading the last one. And he's setting himself nicely up for that as Cabot goes to the outside. But I think it's going to be. I don't think the 77 is going to have much for him.
I don't think so. I think the 18's just been quicker on raw pace. Look at the ground he gained in turns 1 and 2. The 77's going to carry that run onto the back straight, but it's going to be a little futile at this point. I think that 18's going to take it and run. A 3-car battle now for the top spot.
Here comes Cabot with the run on the outside. He's going to look there. I think he feels like his car is better. Let's see if he can try to stick side by side with 18, though. I think the smart Martinez gets him on entry.
Now this is what Martinez has to be careful of. Don't play the games with the... Oh, the 48's loose. He saves it as the front two continue to battle, but the 18 doesn't need to play this game. Let the 77 have it back. Don't fight him too hard for this. I mean, the 77 is slower than the 18 on a long run, so I think Martinez has to understand that and not burn off his tires fighting the 77 like the 48 did.
Yeah, indeed, right with that slip-up, he's going to lose quite a bit of time at the line. He's going to be about a second back, so, and that might not seem like a lot, but with this package, it definitely is, so he's going to have to push this car to try to gain that time up.
"67 laps to go at the line, about 36 minutes of racing left. We've had no cautions so far. We've had 11 lead changes. That is a great number for Las Vegas.
Yeah, especially with this package too, when you consider it, because I think the lead has been, you can pass around for other positions, but I think the lead has been the hardest thing to achieve just due to dirty air off the leader, but these guys have been making it work and putting on a hell of a show doing it.
The top spot has been contested for about 25 laps between the 48, the 77, and the 18. But you see the 18, he's not going away from the mirror of the 77. I don't think Martinez is going to sit back here for too long before he launches another fight on Cabot's rear bumper.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think he should wait too much longer, because that 48 is starting to reel these guys back in. So he's going to approach this fight again. So I think Martinez is going to make.
Oh, Cabot's out of shape.
I think Cabot's going to make the decision for him. He gets loses momentum on the straightaway. Here comes Martinez.
Again,
Can't do anything.
I think this just shows you that Cabot right now is driving all out. But the 18...
he's losing four.
Sideways right in front of the 18. And Martinez is going to drop to the inside. But what I was about to say is that you can tell the 77's driving all out, using every trick in the book. The 18 is sitting and just riding right now. He's not even going that hard. And that's the difference as the 18 takes the lead back away.
Yeah, I was going to say, I haven't really seen that 18 car lose. I actually just saw him there probably for the first time tonight, but for most part of what I've seen, he's been pretty solid, and here comes Cabot with the run.
And I don't think he's going to be able to... The 18's in a bad spot here, because if the 77 slips, he's going to go with him.
And the 77 keeps it there, although he was really loose, so Martinez is going to be running that outside lane. Almost able to clear the 77 before turn 1, but Cabot is still there.
I think this 18 needs to get clear of the draft of the 77, because the 77 is just going to get right back in the fight every time the 18 gets away. So now the goal is to break the draft, get him out of your mirror, and just drive away. And Jeff Wright just watching it all from third.
Yeah, and Wright with a pretty solid recovery. I thought his tires have been too hot to really push them, but he's back up here with the leaders.
I just want everyone to watch the hands on the 77 driver right now, Adam Cabot. We're on the high lane now, but as he gets off the corner, there's a lot of play in the wheel. He's driving the wheels off of it, spinning those rear tires. Now let's ride on board with Alec Martinez just up the road and just watch how smooth he is through turns 3 and 4. It's just, you see him make a little bobble there as he hit the apron, but just so smooth through that middle of the corner. And the 77 is wrenching on that wheel. I don't think he's quite as comfortable at the moment.
Yeah, I've noticed though that Martinez has been hitting that apron that's been knocking the car a little bit loose, so he needs to make sure he stays off of it. But other than that, yeah, his line is pretty flawless compared to other guys.
You're wondering why we've had the cameras here for a while. There's no other significant battle happening at the moment. Really just these top 3 drivers duking it out on lap 104 of 165. And about halfway through this fuel run as well. Cabot is just drifting this car around, but he's going to burn those rears off and won't have anything left. "11 cars on the lead lap. We had 20 drivers start the race. We've had 3 retire. Jeremy Miller, Mark Emerson, Jordan Ashland. Cabot launching a fight back to the outside of the 18 again.
Yeah, I think really this is where he's having trouble. He's having trouble getting that car to run that outside with the momentum. That rear is just not staying put with the tires. He's used them up, but here he comes with the run. And Martinez is going to try to hold him there on that outside.
I'm just amazed the 77 still has this much pace left in it with how hard he's wrenching on the wheels. He drifts up the racetrack out of turn 2, almost gets in the fence. He is driving so hard, crosses over the 18 down into turn 3. This 77 showed up to race, and he is doing that right now.
Yeah, again, but the problem is he's driving like this. This is what these guys are like at the end of the run. He's still going to go about 20 more laps.
Yeah. Those tires are going to be molten lava, and it's just not going to handle very well. So this is short-term gain, long-term loss for the 77. But what an epic battle between these guys, Finney. I don't think we've seen a battle like this in the Cup car, old package or new. Not for this long.
Yeah, indeed, not for this long at all. So these guys have been putting on a great job. What I'm really curious, though, is how. So we saw all 3 of them come in during that last pit stop sequence. What is going to happen this time around?
It's a really interesting question, I think. Here's the 6 car of Elliott Butler, who is on fresher tires driving around these drivers. But you mentioned what's going to happen. Well, it depends on exactly what the 18 does as the things get a little bit tight out of turn 2.
Yeah, Butler, I think he's making sure he takes this easy. I don't think he wants to be responsible for taking out the leader, but here he goes to the inside of Chambliss, to the outside of Martinez. He's going to get himself clear of this mess.
Oh, Martinez sideways out of turn 4. He's going to save it and continue, but I think he was trying to give the 6 car room, and the 77 is going to cross overhead to the bottom off into turn number 1.
These guys are going to be side by side. Cabot might be able to clear him before the corner. Nope, Martinez there by a nose.
And Martinez is going to chase him down to the bottom. I think he knows the 77's loose, so if he can just hold him down on the bottom, he might be able to get right back by him. The problem is if that 77 spins, they're both going to crash.
Here comes Alec Martinez on the outside, who he slips up a little bit. He's starting to feel the burn on the tires, and Cabot's still holding strong there, surprisingly.
Well, the AT doesn't have a choice. He's had to race the 77 hard, and that's why his tires are getting worn out as well. So the 48 is just watching this and going, you guys go ahead and fight. I'll just sit back here and conserve my stuff for the end of the run. Oh, was there a touch there? That got close on the back straightaway a little bit. Tight quarters. And now Cabot gets re-cleared by the 18. And the 48's going to fill the hole on the outside.
I think Wright feels like this is a good time to intervene. He's going to try to look to the outside of Cabot. He's going to have a nose in there.
And this is what the 18 wants to see in his mirror, is watch these two fight, because that's what will slow the 77 down enough to get the 18 away. But the 18 bobbles mid-corner big time, and they're going to split each other almost 3 wide on the back straight.
Yeah, the 77 and 18 getting loose here. Comes Jeff Wright. He's entered the fray again.
Now the 18's on the bottom in turns 3, where he seems like he struggles on exit to get grip. Lap 112 of 165, getting down to the closing moments of this race. That was a terrible idea. That never happened, thankfully. And Jeff Wright is probably going to get the lead away here with a huge run on the back straight.
Does anybody try a strategy? Does anyone come in of these 3 to come in early? Or will all 3 come in together? The thing is that they're so close, by the time they realize the leader is coming in, whoever it is at that point, I don't think the other 2 will have enough time to react. So yeah, I feel like we're going to see a slight divergence on strategy here, which could separate these guys out.
Well, if one driver comes in a lap early, I think they walk away with, oh, Martinez on the apron again. He's going to slip and come up in front of the 77 of Cabot, and now it's 48, 18, 77. They swap the lead amongst each other enough times to confuse me as Jeff Wright begins to drive away, and the 18 and 77 keep fighting. And the 18 a full-on drift out of turn 4.
Yeah, I think you just see also a lot more experience there in that 48. Just waited behind these two, let them burn their stuff up, and got by them
I don't think it's
easily.
I don't think it's by choice that the 18's been fighting the 77. Cabot just hasn't let him get away. And he's just been driving the 18 nuts like a mosquito around his ear and made him fight, and that let the 48 on through. And now they're going to settle in 1, 2, 3. Meanwhile, for fourth place, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Right loose off of 4, he loses his run.
I can't pull the camera off these guys for half a second to look at another battle. I can't.
Oh, and he chases up the track, and here comes Martinez trying to go on the outside.
I give up. We're just watching this race for the rest of the race, because if I pull away, we're going to miss something happening.
And Wright's going to slide up the track in front of Martinez.
Oh,
Martinez almost his Cabot.
That was close. This is too tight. This is not going to last. There's no way that they make this last. And if they do, if they oh, 77 sideways, if they make it through the end of this race and none of them crash, they just split the trophy into thirds at this point. Just do the Kyle Busch guitar smash with whatever. Don't they give you a jukebox or something silly?
I have no clue.
What track gives you a jukebox? I don't even remember.
I have no clue. I really haven't.
These three have been fighting for what, 50 laps now?
Yeah, I think so. They've been fighting for technically they've been fighting since the green flag. At least Cabot and Wright, and then over that last run, Martinez joined the fray.
Of course, the news outside of Racing League the last couple of weeks was that this 18 driver is going to be moving over to Sim Motorsports for the remainder of 2019 and the next season, replacing driver Eli Hinton, who's currently running in 5th.
Yeah, actually, speaking of Eli, came out of this run in 6th, got around Alex Bell, and he's trying to get around Jared Campbell for 4th place, but he's kind of stuck in behind the 66 for now.
77 sideways out of turn 4 again. Martinez has a run on the 48, takes it to the outside. Wright chases him to the wall. I don't dare move the camera off these cars.
I mean, really, honestly, except for the battle in behind them for 4th place, there really isn't too much going on around the track.
It's a big battle for 4th. There's like 3 or 4 cars involved in that one.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize Alex Bell was right in behind these guys.
So we're closing in on about 40 to go. About 6 laps. So that's when the pit window opens. And I like you said earlier, I don't know what to expect with these front 3. But whatever, I mean, I thought they would have a different strategy before. They all did the same thing. So I honestly have no idea what they have up their sleeve. I don't even know if they know what their plan is. I bet they're all waiting for each other in a pit. They're all just going to run out of gas.
I think that's what we're looking at. I mean, obviously someone's going to have to cave in, but I think everyone's going to be waiting until the last guy goes. It's pretty much a game of chicken coming down a pit road.
2 Camaros and a Camry fighting at the front of this field with 45 laps to go at the line this time through. Whoa, Martinez really sideways. That was the most we've seen him lose. He left tire tracks that time through.
Yeah, I think he's really eyeing on coming down the pit road, but these guys are going to have to go at least 2 to 3 more laps to make sure they can make it at the end.
And the 48s actually get a bit of a lead here, which actually might not be a bad thing for these trailing 2, just to let the 48 get out front and base their strategy off what he does.
Yeah, well, Martinez is not giving that 77 way. He's going to keep him down there. Oh, boy.
And he
Oh,
bobbles
Martinez
again.
Ooh.
Yeah, he was the calm one for the majority of the run. Now he's the one slipping and sliding all over the place.
Yeah, out of the leaders, Jared Campbell, he's come down onto pit road. He's
Ooh.
going to leave that three-way fight between him, himself, Bell, and Hinton for 4th place.
So Jeff Wright leads this race by half a second. That's the largest margin we've seen since about lap 80.
Yeah.
Martinez hits. Oh no! And he's slipping, sliding, trying to get down to pit road speed.
He's good.
And he will. What a dramatic pit road entry. And that might win him the race, Finian. A great, great strategy call here with 42 to go.
Yeah, I was going to say also gained quite a bit of time onto pit road as well, going very aggressive. So that will help him.
So now, these guys right here, they can only go about 2 more laps. So they can't really overcut very much. And they're going to be forced to come to pit right now, I think. And will they do it?
Wright's coming in, Cabot's coming in.
All right, so here we go. Battle for the top spot. Alec Martinez beat them to pit lane, and now it's going to be battle at the top.
Yeah, so now honestly, for pretty much majority of this race, Martinez has been on the offensive. This run, the way it's going to play out, he's going to be on the defensive, and he's going to have to defend from behind as Wright and Cabot are going to be coming at him with fresher tires, albeit only 1 lap.
I don't think that lap's going to make enough of a difference, but what will make a difference is the fact that Martinez pit in a lap early and saved himself basically a second and a half. So Martinez is up to speed now on the front coming onto the front straightaway, and meanwhile Jeff Wright is rolling, and so the 18 is coming back down to pit lane. Does he have a penalty, Finian?
Oh no, he must have.
What has happened to the 18 to take him out of this race?
I'm not sure where he got the... Oh, he had speeding off.
Oh. That is just painful. That hurts to watch. And the driver that probably would have won this race and had done everything so right gets it so wrong with only 40 laps to go. I don't think there's any measure of frustration that can account for what that driver is feeling right now.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just unfortunate. Ran this race next to perfect, and until that point right there, and that's not just gonna put him back a little bit. It's gonna put him all the way back in 11th, 1 lap down.
Yeah, he actually took tires, I believe, on that stop as well.
Oh, there was a wreck off of turn 3. His car just spun to the inside.
Angelo Aronis, was it? I think it was. Let's take a look. Yes, Angelo Aronis was getting back up to speed here. And Wright and Cabot were... Oh, he blew a motor. Downshifted incorrectly and smashed the wall in turn 3. We stay green still. And we mentioned while we were watching that replay that the 48 and 77, they came right back out of the racetrack, right on top of each other. They continue to fight still.
Yeah, and this is going to be the battle for the win here between these two. Take the 18 out of the equation.
That is... I just can't get over how frustrating that must be for Alec Martinez. Did everything right, and at the... I mean, that's the only person you can blame that on is yourself. That's the worst thing, is that you can't even blame another driver or, you know, bad pit crew or a bad pit call. That's all on the driver, and that just makes it sting that much more. Eddie Trejo had to back into his box. He's now getting his service. Eli Hinton, the last driver from the front group of drivers to stay out. He'll continue to stay out, maybe hoping for a caution.
I think so, although I think what he's trying to do, he's been trying to do the overcut a little bit and catch guys up with fresher tires. It seemed to be working out for him, albeit he's running out of laps. So I don't know how this is going to play out between his three-way battle between Bell and Campbell. And remember, he's fighting for the championship too when his main rival, Jeff Wright, is going to be leading this race when this all cycles out. So I think he's kind of hoping for caution, but again, not too many cars out on the track, and I think he's coming down to pit road this time by. Nope, staying out on the lap.
Last 20 minutes of this race begin now. Lap 129 of 165. You're watching Sim TV. Again, my name is Kyle Heyer alongside Finian DeCuna. It's been a wild one so far. No cautions. 14 lead changes at Las Vegas. This race has been even more competitive than that number would suggest.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I'm trying to remember, this has been a very green race, but I'm trying to remember, when was the last time we had a green flag race all the way from an end? Obviously not on a road course, but on an oval. I'm trying to remember.
I would think back, wasn't it a few weeks ago at Motegi with 3 wide? Or no, they had a caution in race 1. Someone So someone definitely ran a caution-free race recently.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I can't remember. We do so many races, they all just kind of blend into one.
35 to go at the line. About 18 and a half minutes left. The lead will change back over to Jeff Wright and Adam Cabot. The gap right now is 0.3 of a second. Who do you have your money on right now?
Honestly, I would say maybe that 48. I think he looks to be a little bit more consistent of the two. I think Cabot, he's been a little bit too aggressive on the tires in some places, and I think that's cost him late run speed.
Eli Hinton on and off pit lane will return to the racetrack with 34 to go. Jeff Wright has led a significant portion of this race, but these last 30 or so laps are really the ones that count, and Adam Cabot is hot on his tail. I think it's about one more time for a SimTV sound surge before we close out the night. Here we go. .30 laps to go here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's been an incredible race so far. Wright and Cabot lead this race. It's about 10 seconds back to the third place driver, Gerald Campbell, but for the front two, it's been a dogfight since about lap 80. They've been on top of each other, with the 18 about Martinez intermixed, but for the 18, a pit road speeding penalty has mired him back in 12th position, a lap down. Just going to be a tragic end of the day for the 18.
Yeah, it really is. He is back in, back in 12th, one lap down. I mean, a caution would help him get back on the lead lap, but then he would still be on older tires. So it is not a good situation for Martinez at this point.
Top two, still the closest battle on the racetrack, and Cabot beginning to search up the middle groove and making some more ground on the 48, bringing the fight right back to him as we close in on the end of this race.
Yeah, under 30 laps to go. Cabot, whoa, he goes way up into the wall almost, trying to search for a way around the 48. Yeah, that was really close there to being ugly.
Well, is he searching the parking lot or the racetrack for a way around him? You gotta stay between the white stuff and on the black stuff. Goes to the high side now. And he's going to carry that run onto the straight. And again, multiple grooves. We haven't really seen multiple grooves work very well with this newer package. But man, tonight, you can pretty much drive anywhere on the racetrack.
Here comes Cabot. He goes to the inside of Jeff Wright. Let's see how Wright's able to maintain it pretty well on the outside. He's going to pinch at 77.
The 48 stays on the outside lane. The 77 doesn't have enough of a run to stay on the inside, but he's going to launch it down into turn 3. 48 gives him the room, but I don't think the 77 is going to take the bait.
Ooh, he's sliding around already on those tires.
I think the ability for the 77 to run anywhere is the last arrow in his quiver tonight. I think I got that from John Hindhoff today, by the way. I love that that statement. But it's really the last thing that he's got that really makes him better than the 48. I think the 48 might be quicker on raw pace, but the 77 can search around so much better than the 48 can as they continue to run side by side.
Yeah, I think his gameplay might be to make that 77 use of his stuff on that inside lane and just kind of hold the outside.
Here comes Gagnon. Where's he going to go? He's several laps down. Down in 14th. Well, the leaders are going to slip.
Oh, boy.
This is going to get really awkward here in a moment.
Yeah, indeed it is. And oh, boy. I thought Cap was just going to turn in on the 83. He's going to let him.
Oh, he's loose. So is the 48. Still sideways driving out of turn 4. Drag racing to 24 laps to go.
I'm really curious as how this is going to end up on the line between these two. And wow, they're running each other really close. Woo.
I wish I could be my typical excited self, but I'm so exhausted after a long day at the Glen that I promise you, this is the best race I think this is probably the best oval race I think we've ever seen. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, no.
It's incredible. This race has been awesome. It's been long, but it's been a very, very good race. And we're still up now to 16 lead changes and counting with 22 laps to go. And Cabot has stolen the lead away, and I promise you I'm very excited. Look at him wheeling that car. Slide up the racetrack out of turn 2.
Jesus, if we had a quarter for every single time that these guys have been loose off the corner.
I might be able to afford a hotel in Watkins Glen. That would be nice.
Yeah. Because nearly every single corner on some of these runs, these guys have been tail happy all the way around. Still have not managed to wreck, which has been the most impressive thing today.
In 2 laps, that ticker is going to go from saying 144 of 165 to saying 20 to go. Getting down to the end of this one, Finian. 11 and a half minutes left in this race.
Honestly, I'm kind of curious. The gap between Wright and Eli last week was 9,000th of a second. The way these guys are going at it, I think you might see a gap at that mark, maybe even closer.
And if you're Gerald Campbell in 3rd, you're keeping a very close eye on those 2 leaders because they can and probably will get together as the 77 bobbles out of turn 2. Here comes the 48 back to the inside.
Yeah, right down to the inside. You can see that these guys are not playing around anymore. They know that they can't really let another guy get too comfortable in one position. They have to keep going back at it.
And Jeff Wright takes the spot back away. And Cabot wants to fight back to the block thrown by the 48. Ooh. 20 to go.
You can see Cabot almost getting to the wall again in the corner. I don't think he's going to be too entirely happy with that.
Now, that was the first aggressive block I think I've seen the 48 do, so he's not playing around anymore. Checking on the track temp, we haven't looked in a while. It's 131, so it's cooled down a little bit, but not enough to make this any less interesting than it is.
Yeah, Cabot going to try the inside lane. Actually, Cabot surprisingly is pretty good on that inside lane.
He's good everywhere. I think that's his ability is he's been able to go top, bottom, and make passes either way. I think the 48 has really only been able to do them in one lane. And Cabot back to the bottom.
Behind these guys, since we really have not seen anyone else on the track but these two guys, behind them, Hinton and Bell will about to sort it out. But Hinton's got pit a lot later. He's got a lot fresher tires in the 15, and he's kind of just driven up here. You might be able to get around the 15 and Bell pretty easily.
Actually, Hinton's got way fresher tires than everybody in front of him by about 8 laps, so he might actually get a couple more spots here. He could potentially even get up to 3rd, which is his next victim, Gerald Campbell, in that white number 66 at the front of your screen. which would be a very good result for the 13, by the way.
Yeah, and again, I think he needs it because, actually, if I can look at it on my screen here, the gap between them in points, only 6 points. I think Hinton's going to try to make sure he keeps that gap as close as possible as Cabot again goes to the inside of the 48, battles back on.
Oh, man. These guys have been respectful all night. When do the punches start flying?
Probably in a few laps, if not now. I can kind of sense the aggression picking up just a little bit more as each lap goes by. We only got about 16 to go now.
Cabot on the back to the bottom. The 48 protecting in the middle groove. And Wright will hang on. And Cabot's going to tuck back in for now, but not for long. $15 laps to go. About 8 minutes of racing remaining in this race. Jeff Wright leads by a 1/10 of a second over Adam Cabot. Last time through, Wright was quicker, but Cabot close.
Yeah, Cabot's really close. I've noticed that Cabot's really fancy taking that outside lane. That's the second time I've seen him all the way up towards the wall. And the problem with that is that there's a lot of marbles there.
He's going to have to hope that he doesn't pick any up. Again, we haven't seen this gap greater than a 1/2 a second since about lap 80. And even before then, it was pretty close to that. Laps are ticking down now. Cabot is running out of time. And for the 48 of Jeff Wright, we saw last week, he's not afraid to throw a block. Will he throw a block on the 77? How will the 77 respond? Cabot's going to have to get creative.
I definitely think he's going to throw a block. We saw that earlier. Throw a pretty aggressive block on that 77. I think he's not afraid to defend this. He knows what's on the line.
Look at him all the way down on the apron, trying to cut and use as little racetrack as possible. 13 to go. I think Cabot's a touch quicker, a 1/10 faster last time, a 32.551 to a 32.489. Cabot with the advantage.
It looked like Cabot's kind of starting to struggle in behind the 48.
Oh, big slip out of turn 4. Wow, his hands were all over the place.
Yeah, but it looks like he's starting to build up a run back up. He's getting the suction off the 48. But where does he go? He's going to stay right in behind him.
Arrow push there is going to mean he's going to lose some ground, and you see that gap open right back up to about 2 car lengths. But both these cars are slipping. I think the 77 has just done a better job of driving it tonight and is dealing with it. $11 to go. Some lap traffic up ahead. It's probably not going to be a factor. There's only 9 cars in the lead lap. We haven't had a single caution yet tonight. Our lead changes number sits at 17, most of them between these two guys right here.
A bit of a slip up from the 48.
Cabot is following right in his tire tracks. I'm surprised we haven't seen him move around a bit more.
Ooh, I see some smoke down on pit road. As Joshua Banks, his car is all torn
Oh,
up.
meanwhile, for the top spot, the 77 gets a great run and takes the lead away. And he slips up, does a slide job on the 48. Wright turns right back down to the bottom with 10 to go. They continue to drag race down the back straightaway. These two have not decided it yet. Whatever's happened to Joshua Banks has ended his day, unfortunately. The Roval winner from a few weeks ago. But for the top spot, the 77 and 48 fight like it's the last lap, but there's only 9 left to go.
Yeah, it looked like Cabot was biting his time just a little bit. He's got a fantastic run off of 4. He's going to be able to clear right with ease. Now Wright put back on the back foot.
4 minutes left in this race. Wright hasn't been quite as aggressive as the 77 of Cabot in getting that lead back, but he's going to have to be these last couple laps. He won last week in that Shell-sponsored number 48 Camry, but the 77 is hungry to return. That's Cabot in that Lawn Tech number 77 Camaro, and again, the new sponsor on board that car this week. To go into victory lane with it in its first race would be something special, to say the least.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, he's been up in the front for most of the season. I think probably should have a few more victories to his name. And here he's got a shot with it tonight, right? Trying to win back-to-back weeks. Won last week at Bristol by just 9,000 of a second. He's going to try to do the same here. It's going to be a close one between him and Cabot.
Wright has solidified himself as a championship favorite, but the 77 is looking to rack up as many wins as he can with 7 to go. Who's it going to be between these top two?
And honestly, it's hard to tell. These guys have been so equal with each other. They just have not been able to go right there. You see Wright go to the outside lane of the 77. He's going to go up the hill, though.
Now he looks to the inside. Cabot gives him the room off into turn 3.
Yep, and here they go. And that's a good thing, too. These guys have been giving each other a decent amount of room in some places. Have been completely running each other to the wall, although I feel like it was about to change here as we're coming to 6 laps to go.
It's been a lot of give and take, and they're about to do a lot more taken than given these final 6 laps.
And Wright gets a great run through 1 and 2, but here comes Cabot with the charge on that outside lane.
Side by side, coming to 5 to go. These guys have just been all on top of each other for almost 100 laps at this point. It's ridiculous how much they've fought. This has by far been the most entertaining race on Sim TV in recent memory. The 77 crosses over Jeff Wright. 5 laps to go.
Yeah, he's got a great run down on the bottom. And it looks like he's going to be able to clear the 48 going into turn 1, but his race
no, he's going to slip.
Crossover.
He's going to slip. Wright's probably going to cross him over out of turn 2, but he gets loose and can't get the power down to the ground.
Yeah, just got all that aero wash and the car couldn't rotate enough, so lost the momentum there.
Cabot tried to break the draft, but it didn't do him any good. He just slipped up in the middle of 3. Here comes the 48 back to the bottom. They've been like this for 100 laps. They're not going to get any farther apart than this. 4 to go.
Right. And Cabot got really close to that turn 4 wall there off that last corner.
Right back to the bottom.
Ooh, there's a rack up in front of them. Gagnon, he goes down to the apron. He's going to stay out of it. Almost a caution here, and that would end the race.
Wow, Gagnon, whatever's happened at 83 has put him way down with some damage, but for the top spot, it's the 77 and 48, like it's been since the beginning of the race. These guys have fought tooth and nail. They've been respectful. They had the 18 throw his hat in the ring. Martinez is back inside the top 10, back in 9th. Still running ridiculously good lap times. He probably could have won this race, but it's between these two now with 3 to go.
Yeah, I don't know, Wright keeps trying to look to the inside. I don't think he should be looking there. He's much better on the top side. Here comes Cabot. Looked like he was going to go for the inside. Here comes Wright now trying to make a lane.
Oh, there wasn't a whole lot of lane there, but he might use the bumper. There's already a dent on the back of that 77. Not sure who's it from, but the 48's about to make it bigger. 2 laps to go. The 48 slipped and lost some ground.
Yeah, he lost some ground. I think he's going to spend this lap trying to get that ground back up for the last lap.
It's been 164 laps, and it all comes down to this. Cabot, 77. Wright, 48. The 48, a championship favorite. The 77, a fan favorite, trying to rack up more victories before the end of the year. It's coming down to the wire. The 48 of Jeff Wright looks to the bottom. Does he have enough of a run to get alongside for this white flag lap?
Yeah, Cabot's got to hang on. He has to make sure he keeps on holding on to it. Here he comes. Cabot's going to lead them down. White flag in the air.
There's a mile and a half left in this race. That 48 has led the majority of the miles in this race so far. He's got 2 corners left after he exits this corner right here. He looks to the high side but doesn't have a big run. He's slipping, he's sliding. Look at him driving it sideways. He's drifting the car onto the back straight. The 77 breaks the draft. Wright's got 2 more corners. Can he do anything with him?
So Cabot's going to be stuck in the outside. Here comes Wright, sending it up the inside, side by side, in 4.
It's not going to be enough. Adam Cabot out of turn 4 has fought tooth and nail, and he will go to victory lane in the Outsider Racing League chase at Las Vegas.
Yeah, great finish for those guys. Jarrett Campbell, he's going to come. Actually, he's running out of fuel, I think, off of 4, sputtering or something. And whoa, we got Hinton Bell all through the grass. What on earth happened with them?
Oh, some dramatic moments there. Hinton sliding through the grass, and he's going to hit the inside wall at the finish. Hinton scored in 5th place. Or is it 4th? I think it's scored in 5th for me. And what has happened between these cars? Let's quickly take a look here and find out exactly what happened to that 13 car. as they came out of turn 4 or the last couple corners. Here's a look. The 15 and the 13 were coming out of the final corner. Oh, the 15 bobbled and hit the 13. Martinez slid on through. Martinez finished 8th in this race, but just a 2-car incident there. But my goodness, Finian, Adam Cabot doing burnouts at the start-finish line, well earned. This was a spectacular race. By far, the most entertaining race, oval or otherwise, I think we've ever seen.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic battle between the first few drivers pretty much since the drop of the green flag. They both charged up immediately. I mean, look where they started. You see Cabot started in 10th, Jeff Wright started in 8th. They were in the front of the field pretty much coming to lap number 2. So they were up there for most of the night, just going at it the whole night long. And Cabot's the one who's going to be standing on top.
And after all this 165 laps, one of the longer races of the season, you have to feel for Alec Martinez. Put on a valiant effort. Came from 16th all the way up to the lead, led a couple laps, and then sped on pit lane on that final money pit stop and finished 8th tonight. Going to be a disappointment for that crew.
And also, he gained some spots after what happened with Joshua Banks, and Tim Downey Jr. was also involved in that incident with the 35.
So Tim Downey Jr. finishes 14th tonight, Joshua Banks in 15th. Tim Downey Jr. and Joshua Banks both 10 laps down at the finish. Only 6 cars on the lead lap, but that does not tell you how exciting of a race that was. I don't think we've ever seen a race that good for that long. All right, I'm getting tired. Let's go grab some drivers to talk to. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back live to Sim TV after 165 laps of some of the most exciting racing we've ever seen, and Alec Martinez was a part of that for many laps. But Alec, a mistake on that last pit stop. What happened?
Yeah, I wasn't trying to do that, but like as soon as I got out of my pit stall, I had a great stop. Went down pit road and I looked and make sure that I wasn't speeding, and it never notified that I was going too fast. And right as I was going to go out of pit road, it said slow down, and it's too late to back out or anything. And next thing I knew, I had a black flag. But yeah, it was a fun race for sure. I was glad I was able to battle with Jeff and Adam. They did awesome. It was awesome. Definitely the most fun I've ever had with this package, even though I'm not a huge fan of it. Not really fun at some other tracks, but man, it's definitely the most fun I've ever had. The setup was awesome. I gotta thank Andrew for that, and definitely all the people watching. Andrew made great setup, and that's why we're able to use all kinds of lines, and that's why we're slipping and sliding around with the big high track temp, probably in the 100s for sure. And man, it just that was most fun. It was really fun.
Does this race remind you of Kansas, the race that you won? Because it was really, really hot, and it seemed like you could move around a little bit and play some strategies. Did it seem like that was a similarity we could draw there between this and Kansas?
No. Kansas is more, how do you say it? It's more newer surface, and we were all against the wall. That was the only line. Here is way hot. You're slipping, sliding, and you could use every line, and definitely and he had to save the tires. That's probably that was mostly what you needed to do was to save the tires, or else you were gonna fall off a ton. So definitely, it's not similar to Kansas, but yeah, we got runs like we did at Kansas for sure. We had big runs on the back stretch. On the front stretch wasn't as much as what you would think, but the back stretch was just amazing runs if you can get one on somebody. But yeah, I guess so.
Uh,
Definitely, it's a different animal.
all right, well, Alec Martinez, 8th place tonight. Not what he was looking for, but still a good result for the 18 team. Thanks, Alec. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
All right, next we're going to talk to the 3rd place driver, who tonight was Gerald Campbell, who I don't think we've ever talked to before. So welcome, Gerald, to the SimTV booth. A great race tonight. Just didn't quite have enough for those top 2 drivers. Just walk us through your night battling with Eli, Alex, and the rest of the drivers around you.
Well, I honestly didn't think it was going to go green flag all the way, so I really burnt up my tires whenever I was trying to battle for the lead, and that just set me onto a course where I was just always going to be just a little bit behind them. So it was just a situation that I was hoping for a caution just to regroup and rethink my strategy. But yeah, I mean, I only done a couple races with you guys and finally got myself to where internet worked good enough to where I can stay in the complete race, and it was a blast. A little tired now, but yeah, no, it was strategy wise. Just try to keep the guys behind me and try to minimize the guys with new tires leaving me in the front. So it was just a fun race all over.
With the hot track temps here, it seemed like there was definitely a lot more driving going on than just riding like we've seen in the past. In terms of looking back at your other starts this season, how did you have to adjust to the driving style here with with more lifting and that sort of thing? How did you adjust to that with the hot track temp and the slippery conditions we saw?
Well, I mean, that's actually the key to decide on how you're going to race the racetrack here. If you really wanted to get around the guy, you had to push your tires further, but that was going to kill the life. To give you an idea, on the last run, I pitted a little bit earlier than anyone else and tried to save my tires. And the 13, I think, or yeah, it was 13, pitted maybe 10 laps later, and he used his stuff up very quickly. And then at the end, he was 1 second behind me and couldn't get any closer because he just burned off those tires. So it was a strategy game. Do I burn it now, trying to get around this guy, and then if it doesn't work, then you got burnt up tires and nowhere to go for it. So it was a lot of a chess match trying to figure out when to use them, when not to, and uh, it was surprising. I was not expecting this package to have it to where it was going to be this loose and this, I guess, drivability to where you could maintain your or pick your outcome and your destiny throughout the race. So it was still that's what makes it fun. So
All right, well, a 3rd place result for the driver of the number 66, Gerald. Thanks for chatting with us, and we'll see you around.
all right, appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Absolutely. Move on to 2nd place driver, Jeff Wright. And Jeff Wright battled for well over 100 laps tonight with eventual winner Adam Cabot. But Jeff, coming off a win last week at Bristol, up here in the booth, that was the most entertaining race we've ever watched. What was it like from the cockpit in that 48?
Yeah, it was just as entertaining from the cockpit. Honestly, if I was coming into this race, and you told me that we were going to have a finish like that, being able to slide around, and as hot as the track was, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of mile and a halves with this package, and I've been pretty vocal about that. But this was the most fun race of the year. I know I didn't win. Props to Adam. He was wheeling it tonight, but yeah, coming off a win at Bristol, obviously want to go back to back, but in the back of my head, I knew, I'm racing for a championship here. You got to get the points, and I would have loved to go for the win, and I tried. Adam left the door open for me, but it just gets so tight on you when there's a car on your outside. But yeah, what a race! It was so much fun tonight.
Multiple grooves seem to be kind of the name of the game tonight, playing around with passing on the outside versus the inside. Where did you feel like your car was stronger?
My car, I think, was stronger right in turns 1 and 2, right around that middle seam. It just seemed like I could really close up to whatever car I was chasing, and I really didn't have to struggle too much trying to get those rear tires to grip driving off the corner. In turn 4 tonight, I really had a hard time getting off that corner. That was the most difficult part of the track for me tonight. I tried a few different lines, running low. Shortest way around the track is obviously what you want to do when those tires are fresh. But 10, 15 laps after we got those laps on those tires, you kind of had to move up a little bit, and then after that, I really had a hard time finding grip there. That's for sure, and that's I think where Adam probably was a lot better than me, and he proved it tonight.
All right, well, the 48 of Jeff Wright comes home second place. Another good result for that team, Jeff. Thanks for talking to us, and we'll see you next week, I guess.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Absolutely. And last but certainly not least is going to be the winner of the race, Adam Cabot, driving the number 77. Adam, up here, this was the most spectacular race I think we've ever broadcasted on our channel, and it was really cool to see you and Jeff battle it out for so long, along with Alec Martinez. But just walk us through your view from the race tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. And there's no doubt that was the most fun I've ever had racing on 9 years of this service. Yeah, that was wild. I mean, I don't even know where to start. But yeah, going caution-free, having such a loose setup that you really had to drive, and then just battling with Jeff. I mean, Jeff's a class act, and there's not many people I'd leave the bottom open in 3 and 4 in the last lap too. He might be the only one, and even then, I still was thinking, this might be the dumbest thing I've ever done, but. That was just so much fun. I actually didn't realize how close we ended up all cutting it on fuel. I tried short pitting that first stint just a little bit to try to get a leg up on Jeff, and ended up actually running out of fuel doing the burnout there. So that actually ended up becoming a factor. But man, yeah, just so much fun back and forth with Jeff and Alec too. He was up there for a while, and it was pretty funny. I didn't even know. It took so much focus to drive that car. I saw Alec coming up behind us. I didn't even know if he was on the lead lap. I figured he probably was. He was so fast, but I knew if I tried checking the relative, I would probably just end up junking all three of us. But yeah, that was just a ton of fun, and really cool to come out on top. But definitely would have one of those races where no matter where you finish, you would have just been happy at the end. So.
Talk to us about the multiple grooves. I asked Jeff the same thing. He said his car was strongest through the middle of 1 and 2. You seemed like you could make passes in the bottom, the top, the middle. Why were you so strong all over the place?
I don't really know. It's just like a feel intuition thing. It's not really that's why I think I'm not as good on the short tracks, but just because that's so just getting in your rhythm and doing the same thing over and over. Whereas this, it's you're just constantly searching for grip and trying to see where the air's going off of all the cars, and it really, a lot of it was just trying to find clean air too. So.
All right, well, a victory for the 77 Adam Cabot. Well earned tonight for sure, my friend. Congratulations, and we'll see you later.
All right, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, and of course, that's going to wrap up the interviews tonight. I would love to change the camera angle from the one that's clipping under the grandstands, but ATVO has come to a complete and utter halt, and I can't click anything or do anything. So that is why you're looking at the underside of the grandstands. So with that, I am exhausted. I need to get back on the road at 6:45 tomorrow morning. That's going to do it for tonight. But thank you, everyone, for watching. What a spectacular race that was, and we'll see you next week.